All right, good evening, people here and online. So let's see, so meditation by itself means to habituate yourself to a positive pattern. So to habituate yourself to a positive pattern, you need two things. You need to be able to concentrate, and you need to be able to transform the mind, yeah, in a positive way. So that also explains that we have two types of meditation. Yeah, we have a concentration meditation, or sometimes we call it placement meditation, and we have an analytical meditation. Yeah, so first we have to be aware. If you're not aware about your inner thoughts, then you can never transform the mind, right? So the first step is building what we call, you could say, self-awareness, yeah, kind of an awareness of what's going on inside the mind. So how do we do that? So we can do that by just observing the breath by itself. So you could observe the breath by just noticing the movement of the chest, right, or your belly, or the air going in and outside of your nostrils, for example, right? Yeah, because breathing by itself has a correlation with emotions, right? We know that when you're stressed, or when there's anxiety or fear or another strong emotion like irritation or hatred, you will see the breathing pattern is changing. And every other form of thought, you just let go. You just don't pay attention. You don't have to pay attention. Yeah, like the clouds moving by in the sky. Yeah. So we could give that a try. So first of all, maybe the posture. If you sit on the floor, then we sit cross-legged, right? Or you sit on a chair. It doesn't matter. The main important aspect is that the spine is straight. So in the beginning, it's important to have short sessions. Yeah. So if you it's more important to have quality rather than quantity. Yeah? Yeah? Meditation doesn't mean just to relax and fall asleep or something like that, right? Meditation needs effort. You know, that's very important to understand, and also needs knowledge. So we have to recognize those two obstacles of meditation, distraction and this dull aspect of the mind. So how do we do that? So that we do with the concentration meditation, for example, with two mental factors. Yeah, we need to develop two mental factors. One we call alertness. Yeah, so that from the corner of the mind, the main mind is concentrating, right? The main point of the mind is doing the count of the breath. But then from the corner of the mind, there is a kind of checking. You know, in the same way you can walk on the road with a mobile phone looking at the map and look at the road at the same time, right? So in a similar way, the main mind should be counting the breath, but then from the corner of the mind you should be alert if the mind is drifting off, or you're daydreaming, or if there's a distraction, or there's a bit of dullness, right? So that's kind of what we call the mental factor alertness. That should be alert, basically, yeah? And if there's a distraction, sometimes people get in meditation and then they meditate, and then before you know, there's a few minutes gone. I think, oh, but what was I doing again? Was I counting the breath, or what I was doing? So that's a sign there is no alertness, right? So as soon as the distraction comes, you should recognize that. Otherwise, you're wasting your time. Effort is definitely needed, you know, that when you do this awareness meditation and you just observe the breath, then it's also important, whenever you hear something, to actually learn not to follow that sound, or when there's a thought coming up, to actually learn not to follow that thought. That can wait, right? One aspect is not to dislike them, right? Because if you dislike them, you get irritated, you see? So just accept and acknowledge they're there. That's a very important aspect. You know? So the real solution actually is to face the problems within and then transform them. Especially in modern times with the mobile phone and the internet, it's very easy for the mind just to be distracted from the moment you wake up. Most people, they grab the phone, it's like their partner, and the first thing they look at, you know, and they go to bed, that's the last thing they look at. If you develop concentration, you focus your mind on something you like to focus on. So if you train in that well, you actually can train yourself not to follow thoughts you don't like. If you train well in these kind of methods, then later on, when there's an initial irritation or obsessive desire or other different types of negative thoughts that passes by, then it's just like, hello, negative thought, okay, goodbye.